In the wilds of Virginia, where the whispers of the wind spoke of both peace and war, a young girl named Pocahontas would become a pivotal figure in the storied history of America. Her life, interwoven with myth, diplomacy, and sorrow, would forever alter the interactions between two vastly different cultures. Born around 1596, Pocahontas, whose true name was Matoaka or Amonute, was the cherished daughter of Wahun Senekal, known as Powhatan, the paramount chief of an alliance of Algonquian-speaking tribes in what we now call Virginia. Growing up, Pocahontas was immersed in the rich cultural life of her people, learning about the land, the spirit world, and the art of diplomacy that would later define her. Her early years coincided with the arrival of English settlers in 1607, led by Captain John Smith. Pocahontas, often seen at her father's side, became a familiar face to these strangers, embodying youthful curiosity and serving as an unofficial ambassador between her people and the newcomers. The most famous story of Pocahontas's life involves her saving John Smith from execution. According to Smith, after being captured and sentenced to death by Powhatan, Pocahontas, then around 11 or 12, intervened by laying her head upon his, persuading her father to spare him. Whether this was an act of genuine kindness or part of a ritualistic adoption into the tribe remains debated, but it has shaped her legend. Peace didn't last long. The relationship between the Powhatan and the settlers soured, leading to the First Anglo-Powhatan War. Yet Pocahontas was a beacon of potential peace, known to visit Jamestown, bringing food and acting as a go-between. In 1613, her life took a dark turn when she was taken captive by Captain Samuel Argall, aiming to force Powhatan to return English captives and stolen goods. Held in Jamestown, her destiny would change once more. While in captivity, Pocahontas met John Rolfe, a tobacco planter, with a more compassionate view towards the natives. Moved by her spirit and seeing an opportunity for true cultural exchange, Rolfe sought her hand in marriage. In 1614, after she converted to Christianity and took the name Rebecca, they wed, creating a brief respite known as the Peace of Pocahontas. Their marriage was more than personal, it was diplomatic, symbolizing a possibility for coexistence, though fraught with misunderstandings and colonial ambitions. In 1616, Pocahontas, now Rebecca Rolfe, along with her husband and their son Thomas, traveled to England. She was presented at the English court, where King James I was eager to meet this princess from the New World. Her time there was a blend of cultural exhibitions and political strategy, with Pocahontas portrayed as the success of British civilization on the savages. However, beneath this spectacle, there was the poignant story of a woman navigating two worlds, her identity constantly under scrutiny. The journey was hard on her. Pocahontas became ill, likely from a European disease to which she had no immunity. In March 1617, while preparing to return to Virginia, she died in Gravesend, England, at just about 21 years old. Her death marked the end of a life that had bridged two cultures, but also underscored the dark side of colonial expansion. After her death, Pocahontas' story was mythologized. John Smith's later writings further embellished her legend. Over time, her narrative has been used in various ways. As a romantic tragedy, a symbol of cultural integration, or a critique of colonialism. Her legacy is multifaceted. She's remembered for fostering early peace, but also as a symbol of the tragic effects of European expansion, where cultural exchange was often overshadowed by dominance and disease. In contemporary times, Pocahontas' story is being re-evaluated, especially through native perspectives. Many from her tribe, the Mattaponi, with their oral histories, view her as a victim of colonialism rather than a willing cultural ambassador. Her tale has inspired various works, with Disney's Pocahontas standing out, though criticized for its historical inaccuracy and romanticization. In Native American communities, especially those connected to the Powhatan, Pocahontas remains a powerful figure. She represents resilience and the complexity of indigenous identity amidst immense change. Some of her descendants have returned to live among their ancestral tribes, keeping her memory alive. The narrative around Pocahontas has often been one of appropriation, told through non-native lenses. However, there's a growing movement to reclaim her story, celebrating her as a cultural icon, navigating between two worlds with grace. This includes educational initiatives, cultural festivals, and efforts to share the true historical context of her life. Pocahontas' story today is a reminder of America's intricate history, where narratives of discovery, conquest, and cultural encounter are not straightforward, but a mosaic of human experiences filled with heroism, betrayal, love, and loss. Her life compels us to reflect on colonialism's ethics, cultural interactions, and how we remember those who lived through such pivotal times. The story of Pocahontas has had a lasting cultural impact, influencing art, literature, and even place names across America. Her image has been used in everything from tobacco packaging to state quarters, often without regard for the true complexity of her life or her people's history. However, there's been a shift in recent years towards a more nuanced understanding. Educational initiatives, supported by both native and non-native historians, aim to teach Pocahontas' story with greater accuracy. Schools, museums, and cultural centers now focus on presenting her life within the context of the Powhatan culture and the colonial period's realities. This includes highlighting the oral histories of her people, which provide a different perspective on her actions and intentions. Moreover, there's an effort to acknowledge the broader impact of her life on Native American history, how her story reflects the resilience and adaptability of indigenous peoples in the face of colonialism. This educational push is part of a larger movement to honor Native American narratives, ensuring they are told by those who lived them, not just those who observed from the outside. Pocahontas' story, rich with lessons on cultural exchange, identity, and survival, continues to be a touchstone for discussions on America's historical narrative. Her life reminds us that history is not just about events, but about the people who lived through them, each with their own stories of courage, love, and loss. As we continue to explore her legacy, we are reminded of the importance of listening to and understanding the voices of all who have shaped this land.